Hello YouTube, I'm Ilko Birov, and today I'm going to walk you through my latest track, Restless Blues. The reason I decided to do this walkthrough was because I wrote the track using a sample library. So most of the instruments I used were sampled, and I thought it would be interesting to demonstrate how I composed and arranged this piece. The library I used for most of the track is Diamond Jazz Orchestra by Strezov Sampling. I am not affiliated with them, nor did they ask me to do it. A couple of weeks ago I was the winner in their Instagram giveaway. So I got this library, decided to give it a spin, and wrote this track. What I want to do now is play the track for you in its entirety, and then go over the different sections, so that you can see how I used the library to create this track. And without further ado, here is Restless Blues.
I love you, baby, but you make me feel so blue. You're the only one for me, I'm not the one for you. Don't need another lover who will break my heart in two. I just want you to be mine and shake away my blues. I love you, baby, but I can't be satisfied. My restless soul is free, and that's alright. I don't need another lover who will break my heart in two. I just want you to be mine, shake away my blues. Tell me that you love me, never say goodbye. You're my brightest angel, shining in the sky.
Okay, so that was the track that I wrote, inspired by and using mostly this library. So the first thing I do whenever I get a new sample library after batch resaving is to go over all of the patches, to try out all the different articulations and make mental notes of what I can use and what style or what kind of track I could use it for, as well as how. With Diamond Jazz Orchestra, the instruments that really stood out to me were the drums, the percussion, the double bass, and the piano. I like how you can easily change the stereo image of the instruments. So you can go from full stereo for the specific microphone, left and right, to mono, if that's what you're looking for. Another cool thing is that the instruments have a dedicated reverb fader, which would allow you to get a more cohesive sound in the writing stage of your production. So initially I started noodling around on the piano, and this is a great upright piano sound. First I was playing around in mono. So as I was playing around on the piano, I came up with this little progression. And as I was playing that, I came up with this line. I love you, baby, but you make me feel so blue. So I had that line, and I decided to turn it into a song. So I recorded the piano first. I recorded a sketch piano track of the whole thing, verses, choruses, and an intro. After recording the piano, I wanted to lay down drums and bass. So drums were next, and I recorded this pattern for the verse. This one right here. And this is the pattern for the chorus on drums. I really like how the drums they were recorded with a natural separation. So I found the drums to be very inspiring. With Diamond Jazz Orchestra, you get 3 drums patches. You get brushes for that typical jazz drums sound. The library also comes with a folder full of MIDI patterns that you can utilize. So we've got brushes, we've got drumsticks, no wires, and drumsticks with wires. That's when the snare drum sounds. That's basically when you have the snare on the snare drum. What is cool about the drums is that you can engage mic bleed, which makes them sound more natural. And especially for a song like this, that is something that you would want. The next thing I did was percussion. So I had a lot of fun recording the percussion for this track. And in Diamond Jazz Orchestra, you've got track pictures. And you've got all these different pictures that are pre-made for you. So you can pick what you need for your track and just use those. I really enjoyed the castanets. It reminded me of the Ronette song, Be My Baby. one additional library for the percussion, and that is the Body Percussion Ensemble by Embertone. This is a free library, but I use it all the time. It's got hand claps and thigh slaps, and additionally I recorded some tambourine as well as shaker and some more hand claps. And I mixed all of that in with the samples. And then there is bells and xylophone that play only on the choruses. I believe these were from Nucleus. So I mixed all that together, and then I had my percussion ready. The next thing I did was record bass. So, as I said earlier, double bass is one of the instruments that particularly stood out to me. You've got legato mode, which is great, and you've got monophonic and polyphonic legato, which means that you can play chords and have them transition naturally. I recorded double bass. With this instrument, if you press the key at a higher velocity, you get this sound. So you get a slide up. This is what the track sounds like with drums, percussion, piano, and bass. Additionally, what I did was I recorded electric bass and then mixed that with the double bass. And that sounds like this. I'll play the chorus for you. Usually when I'm recording double bass, I like to mix it in with electric bass to give it a more rounded, full sound. So after I recorded the bass, and with drums, percussion, bass, and piano, it was time to record guitars. So Diamond Jazz Orchestra comes with 3 guitar patches. You have acoustic guitar, electric Gibson fingered, as well as electric Gibson picked. And for this track, what I did was, in the first verse, I put this I recorded this plucked ostinato pattern, and for the second verse, I recorded a doubling of the piano chords with the picked guitar, and that sounds like this. may have noticed that I added another piano part, and that was an arranging decision. I did it to add a little bit of interest and to add a little bit of variety in the second verse. And so those were the guitars that I used from the library. Additionally, I recorded a bunch of acoustic guitar using my Martin D28 guitar, and the chorus sounds like this. What I like to do is record rhythm, is to record one guitar panned left and the other one panned hard right, and then record one in the center that is just strumming. So. Okay, so those were the guitars that I recorded for the track. Next, we move on to Woodwinds. I had a lot of fun recording the Woodwinds for this because Diamond Jazz Orchestra is a library that I felt was geared towards that big band, jazzy type sound. And so woodwinds are a big part of that. I came up with this riff. So I played that, and then I complemented it with these chords. Of course, we also have brass, and Diamond Jazz Orchestra has plenty of brass that you can choose from. You've got brass solos, you've got ensembles, we've got bass trombone, contrabass trombone, flugel, lead trumpet, trombone 1, trombone 2, trumpet 2, trumpet 3, and tuba. Within each of those, you've got a host of articulations. So for the trombones, we've got cup, senza, and straight. So we've got your ensembles as well. So we've got high trombone, low trombone, sax, and trumpet ensembles. And I'll show you what I used for this track. But first, let's play the woodwinds and the brass. So I didn't want to overdo it, and for brass I have trumpet ensemble, trombone ensemble doing chords, tuba legato playing bass, and bass trombone also doing bass. And for the verses, we've got contrabass trombone doing staccato notes doubled by tuba. And so on. And in the second verse, we've got some variation with the guitars playing something a little different with that added piano part. And also we've got added woodwinds, and this is what's happening in the second verse. So here we've got tenor sax playing staccato notes, doubling the chords. And over here we've got a clarinet playing with the accented sustained crescendo patch. Now these patches are really interesting because the way it works is you press a chord, and then when you lift your fingers, it does a crescendo. And if you press down on the chord, it will wait until you lift your fingers. So I thought that was really interesting, and this is something I wanted for the verse only. For the last chorus, I used a clarinet for the melody. And I wanted it to be an interplay of clarinet and baritone sax. So here's the MIDI. And next, strings. So I wanted the track to have strings, and I wanted it to have a soaring string part, reminiscent of songs from the 50s and 60s. And so this is what the strings sound like in the chorus. And I will mute the brass and woodwinds so that you can hear them better. So for the strings, I used a nucleus sustained patch. This was the string pad that I laid out for the chorus initially, and then I broke it out into different parts and recorded those with Spitfire studio strings. First violin, second violin, violas, cello, and contrabass. So that's what the strings are doing. In the final chorus, before it starts to fade out, there's a string melody. I used the fiddle library. For this string solo over here. And that was mainly it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in the verses I added these staccato string parts using a free library from Heaviosity. It's the Foundation Staccato Strings library, and this is what it sounds like. And we also have that playing in the second verse. Okay, so this staccato string patch plays at the end as well. After I had finished all the instrumentation, it was time to record vocals. Since I didn't have lyrics, I wrote some down and recorded main vocals first and then backing vocals. Okay, so this is what I had initially for backing vocals. As you can hear, it's not what you would call a doo-wop backing vocal. And so for the final mix, I recorded my own voice. So I sang each line twice, and that's what I have for backing vocals. So that is the track. That is Restless Blues that I wrote using almost entirely samples from Diamond Jazz Orchestra by Strezov sampling. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I hope it was interesting and maybe you learned something. This was my first walkthrough, so I would really appreciate some feedback on what you liked, what you didn't, what I could improve for future videos. All of the relevant links will be in the description of this video. I will link the song Restless Blues as well as Diamond Jazz Orchestra and walkthroughs for the library. So I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.